Do you feel like you are in a never-ending cycle of starting over? One day you're crushing it, you're productive, you're getting things done, you're checking off the boxes, and then the next day you're starting back from square one and you have no idea where you went wrong. If that roller coaster of progress sounds familiar, then you are in the right place. It is time to end the cycle of inconsistency, figure out what's going on, why it's happening, and learn how to actually have a permanent and lasting change. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Carys, and this is where we talk about how to elevate your life, unlock your full potential, and become the highest and best version of yourself. Okay, we are talking about how your all or nothing approach is sabotaging you. Let's talk about it. So first, let me get this straight. I have been there more times than I can count, stuck in the vicious cycle, going all in, going super strict with things, and then suddenly just falling off. Whether it be work, health, fitness, learning, hobbies, you name it, I've been there. And it is frustrating. But the great news is it does not have to be this way. So the first thing is to note that intensity is not always the best answer. I believe that intensity has its time and place. However, it is not what is going to make a lifestyle change that you are wanting. The perfect example of this is New Year's resolutions. Did you know that by February, over 80% of people have already broke their New Year's resolutions? And the one main reason is life. All or nothing is so easy to talk about, but actually implementing it when things happen, things come up. Now, I am a discipline, habits, routine person. Stand by it always. However, there are times when things come up that I cannot stick to my certain routine. Actually, you know what? This week has been the perfect example because on Monday, I had a whole list of my priorities, of the things I needed to do, strict schedule, how I usually do it. And then unfortunately, my doggo had to go for an emergency surgery. And so my whole day was then taking care of her, taking her to the vet, picking her up from the vet, getting all the stuff she needed so that she was going to be okay afterwards. What am I going to do? It had to be done. When life happens, you have to answer what's going on. People often have this all or nothing approach, and then they end up going too hard and pushing too much, so the end result is burnout. It's like trying to sprint a marathon and then expecting it to be smooth to be able to keep your pace and momentum all the way through 26 miles. That is not going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong, you can sprint in certain situations. For example, the challenge 75 hard. A lot of people think it's crazy. A lot of people try it and fail. However, when it's done right, it can be an incredible way to push your mental toughness, build up a strong mindset, and then also it's great for health and fitness as well. I've done 75 hard twice, and I do actually plan on doing it again soon. But this is the thing. It's a sprint with an end point that is it's not 6 months, it's 75 days. And that is why it's actually a mental toughness challenge. It's not even a health and fitness challenge, which a lot of people mistake that for. So all or nothings and sprints can be used in certain instances, but not when you're expecting it to be a full lifestyle change. Let's get that straight first. So if intensity is not always the answer, what is? Well, consistency. I know so many people don't like that word because people hear time and time again how consistency is the answer to everything, but it's because it is. Consistency beats intensity every time. You're craving a quick fix, and that's because our brains want immediate gratification. We don't want to wait. We want it now. We want the quick fix, but it's not how it works. It needs to be a lifestyle change. Before real estate, I was in the health and fitness industry, and time again, I constantly had people that wanted to lose weight extremely fast. So they'd be coming in first day at the gym and then saying they want to be there every day. They're going on a strict diet of chicken and rice and broccoli, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're going to be intermittent fasting. And I'm like, whoa, slow down. We want to make this a lifestyle change, or else you're not going to stick with it. And you're going to be back in here because you fell off and then you started binge eating. You didn't go to the gym for 2 weeks because you burned yourself out. Slow down. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency beats intensity every time. Sustainable progress is about making small improvements over time. So even though I know you want immediate gratification, you want the results now, but it is a trap, okay? Learn how to love these small steps instead. Now, when we set goals, it can be overwhelming. Right? We have these big, audacious goals that we want, and it seems like the size of a mountain. And when we're creating these goals, we're fired up, we're excited, we want to achieve them, and we're ready to go, which often causes us to create that all or nothing plan. But high intensity steps are often not sustainable. You last for a few days, a few weeks, maybe a month or two, and then typically you'll burn out and then you fall off. And then you go dark on whatever goals it is for weeks, months, and then you're back to square one when you realize that you do actually want to achieve this goal again. So what we're going to do instead is break the mountain down into small, attainable hills. And then we're going to break it down even further into simple steps. Step every day, a step every day. Just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and it's going to seem a lot more doable rather than looking at the huge mountain. Now, these simple steps are going to be your habits, and these habits are going to allow you to create an actual lifestyle change. And the great thing is that when you achieve and complete these small steps, you're going to get a little dopamine hit in your brain, which means once you're checking that thing off, you're going to want to go a little bit more and a little bit more. But as long as you're doing your minimum of what your habits and your simple steps are, then you're still making that progress. And by making that progress every single day, day in, day out, you're in turn going to also build your confidence and your self-trust. Trust with yourself is so important because you believe yourself when you say you're actually going to do something because you know that you've done it before. So what I recommend doing is having 10 goals that you want to achieve over the next year. I'm a big believer that every single morning you should write out those 10 goals on a pen and paper every day. Get yourself a notebook, get yourself a pen, and have it stack it on with something else. So you know every single morning that what you're doing that day is working towards achieving those 10 goals. These are your mountains of what you want to achieve. And then we're going to break it down of what you need to do to get to your per day habits, your daily things that you have to do in order to take your steps to reach the goals. If you want to know step by step how to build out a full routine, I'm talking in-depth detail from setting your goals to breaking it down to breaking full steps of your routine, I will leave the video that I have for this linked in the description below so you can watch that after. So your big goals are written out pen and paper every day. And then also I recommend having on your notes app on your phone your daily habits. So I personally have a list of habits that I do every single day. I also have an additional note of my per week social schedule. So Monday through Sunday, every single day, what content I have to post on social media. I use the check boxes because I like to check it off once it's done. It keeps me accountable and it keeps me consistent. Now, when I started that, creating an actual schedule for what I was posting, don't get me wrong, I did not have full lists of all these things every single day. I started with a couple of different things each day. And then when I started doing that consistently, I then added one more post, added one more story, and then built up from there. So whatever it is that you're doing, just know that you can start at a bare minimum of certain things that you need to do in your steps. And then as you go, when you are getting consistent with doing it day after day, you can add in other things. You can add in extra tasks, extra activities in order to build up. But set your small steps first, achieve them, and then gradually build up into your bigger steps. That's why when I'm preaching about waking up early, you don't go from 8 a.m. to waking up at 5 a.m. the next day. You do 7:30 and you do that for a few days. Then you do 7, you do that for a week. Then you do 6:45 and you just build it up. Slow, gradual changes. And then after a few weeks, you're waking up completely fine, 5 a.m. every day. That is how you do it. It's called the compounding effect. It's when small changes equals big results. Okay, so we know that the all or nothing approach is typically not the best way to go. You know now about your goals. You know the small steps that you need to be doing. Now it comes to removing friction. So your friction points are basically what is it that is tripping you up or holding you back from doing what you need to do. For example, if you want to start working out early in the morning, maybe a friction point for you is that it's a lot of effort to get everything up and ready when you're up. So how do you fix that? Get as much possible ready and prepped before you wake up in the morning. I'm talking your water filled up in the fridge, your workout clothes ready to go, your shoes by the door. All that you need prepped, ready to go. You've removed the friction. Or maybe you need to work out after work, but you go home after work and then you can't be bothered because you're tired, so you don't end up going back out to the gym. Well, instead, pack your workout clothes in your bag and then after work, go straight to the gym, change, get your workout in, and then go home. For me, with work, when I used to cold call for hours every morning, not fun, but to remove the friction of me trying to find every excuse not to cold call, I would have everything set up ready for me, laptop ready to go, headset ready next to it. I had my notepad there to take notes, and I removed the friction for me trying to make the excuse to not make cold calls. If you find that you can't stay consistent with healthy eating, don't have bad food in the house. If you find you're choosing to eat fast food because it takes too long to cook meals, start meal prepping. Remove the friction. The all or nothing intensity approach is typically not going to serve you. So what you need to do in order to start having consistency in your life, in your routine, is to create an environment that's going to support you in the progression to reach your goals. Track your progress when you can. Use notebooks. Start writing things down. And then when you achieve certain things, celebrate your wins. And say if you start adding something in that you've maybe done for a month and you feel ready that you can add another good habit in, do so. No more are we doing an all or nothing approach and then going through the roller coaster of having high intensity, falling off, and then start from square one. No mas. We are doing small, consistent habits, sustainable progress, and making things a lifestyle change. Now I want to know, what is one area of your life or one thing that you are going to cut the all or nothing approach and start being consistent with? Drop it down in the comments below, commit to it, and hold yourself accountable. I will also leave linked in the description below the highest and best community, so you can join that and meet people who are along the same journey with you. Maybe you can find an accountability partner and stay on track. Find people who are like you and want to build into becoming their highest and best. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this one here because you might want to watch that one afterwards. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.